the background. A great day for the grand final for this year with the Canterbury Bulldogs to take on the Canberra Raiders. An absolute picture-perfect day, around about 19 degrees, so the player comfort is really spot on today, and I don't think heat will be a major factor, and of course, unless you go into extra time, and then, of course, everything's a factor then. But doesn't Sydney really look terrific on this day? The best harbour in the world and probably one of the great cities in the world. Well, there's plenty of activity not only here at the Sydney Football Stadium, but away from it. Let's take a look at what's happening down in Canberra as they wait to see their team take to the field. And you can see the Canberra Leagues Club and many of their supporters there, those who couldn't make it to Sydney. Maybe the bus was all full up, tickets sold out or whatever, but watching it on the big screen in the Canberra Leagues Club to see whether the Green Machine can do it once more, and particularly because of Mal Meninga's last year with them as a player. Hello to Ingham, of course, that's one of the great clubs there in football towns in North Queensland, and the Canterbury Bankstown Leagues Club. Plenty of supporters out there waiting to see whether they can break a drought after 6 years, but always a consistent side in the Rugby League Premiership. They're always up there or nearabouts. In fact, I think they've only, the worst place in the last 10-15 years is around about 7th, so they're a very, very consistent football club. One of the bonuses of every football season is that it produces a fresh crop of players guaranteed to spark the imagination of fans and critics alike. In fact, the 1994 season yielded a bumper harvest. Back in autumn, they were relatively unknowns, but by season's end, they had become household names wherever the game is played. Let's meet a few of the fresh faces now, featured on the game's most sought-after swap cards.
And Matt Sears comes away from the in-goal again. And look at the pace of the boy.
At the beginning of the year, I was hoping to play first grade, and I just got my chance, and I just feel certain aspects of my game, like my returning of the football, has helped me stay there for the year.
Puts up a bomb. Matt Sears under pressure, away from Goulet, away from Mundine.
Speed has a big influence on my game, being a fullback, both in attack and defence. Like in attack, I get the ball back strongly from kick returns and try to make as much ground as I can.
Sears! He's got a big motor if he gets into the clear.
In defence, it helps, like in cover defence when you're chasing blokes.
Mullins is outside the 40-metre line. That's it. That is it. They couldn't possibly catch him. Mullins. Well, what about young Sears? Daly puts on the sprint. Here's a try, is it? Oh, what a tackle! Matt Sears! He's pulled off a ripper of a tackle.
Oh, tackle of the year, that one.
Oh, you've always been quick, but, you know, not too quick, I think.
Back across for Sears. Sears sees an opening, puts the fend on and scores. He's all class, this kid. Green is to the right. He's with it now. Healy on his outside. The grubber kick for Healy. Healy will score. Healy gets it down. Beautifully orchestrated by Paul Green.
I think I gave the side some direction, especially in attack. I like to talk like most halfbacks, and I think that only helps when everyone else around you knows what's going on. It makes everything a lot easier for the whole team.
Green stepping away, brushing players twice his size away. Danny Lee, now it's back for Cronulla to go on. The kick ahead down the ground from Neve will see Borden score.
My expectations were firstly to make sure that I play first grade for the whole season. But once I got the chance, things went my way in a game, and I found a bit of confidence in myself that I could try things.
Scrum 10 metres away from the Cronulla line. They've got all the work to do. And a clean break has been made by the half. Rex Turp will get him, I'd say. Green's looking around. He's still waiting for support to come. Here it comes now. He'll go all the way, the little fella. Good boy. Fair dinkum, it was like the tortoise and the hare.
You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger.
Here they go, the Raiders for the corner. He's over. Croker. Jason Croker gets it down.
I've been selected a lock, 5'8", second row, wing, and also I've played a bit of fullback.
A dummy by Croker. Croker put in a touch. Across now for Croker. Grubbing kick through. He's chasing. Ridge is under pressure. Loses the ball. Meninga misses the ball. And it's a try. Stewart gets through an opening. Here comes a try. Croker goes in wide out.
Yeah, I prefer to play a lock, but it's a bit hard to keep Bradley Clyde out. He's a great player, and I prefer, it doesn't sort of worry me where I play.
Mullins into space. Croker's with him. Croker now. He puts the ears back, looks for support. Here's Walters. Walters is with him. But, Croker, he doesn't need Walters. He's in to score himself. His second try.
Maybe a fairly obvious statement, but with a 10-point deficit facing them, it really is Brisbane that needs to be the next scorer.
Wendell Sailor opens the mark. Outside the 40. Oh, shut the gate. Have a look at this play. Oh, Carl Lewis. Don't worry about Carl. I'll back Wendell.
I've probably reached higher than I thought I would this year. I mean, I just thought it'd be a bit of a learning curve, but obviously I've gone a bit better this year. But I'm very happy indeed with my season and hopefully continue.
Here's a good run by Wendell Sailor again. He's stamping himself on the game and he puts it down. That's a magnificent piece of work. It's out with Alfie Langer. Across kick. Oh, they must score. Wendell Sailor gets a try.
I'm usually a pretty confident player. Like, I know who I'm marking up on. And I just go out there to play my man and try and beat him and then do those little extras if I can.
Sends it over to Sailor with a little bit of room to move. Out of a couple of tackles, Sailor. He's only got Marn to beat. He comes to the fullback, breaks away from him. Odin Ryan's over there. He's pushed away from Odin Ryan. And Wendell Sailor, how many did he beat? 4 or 5, maybe even 6. He's beaten 19 of them.
Well, I've tried to be a lot more selective with my passing this year. You know, you got to pick the right times and the right place in a game to try and get balls away. And this year, it's one thing I've worked very hard on to make sure I get that ball away at the right time and not put any pressure on the side.
Freeman calling it to the right. Outside him is Big Adamson. Here he goes. Adamson. Oh, what a talker. What a beautiful pass.
Well, basically, I try to get in between players.
And Phil Adamson, like Goliath, charges onto it, brushes them away.
Try and draw 2 players to me so I can sort of make a bit of an opportunity for the person on the outside.
They come back, sweeping across the ground, looking for another big forward. Adamson is the man. Oh, he slides the pass for Girdler.
Try and hold the player on the outside away from me so that I can get the left arm around the body of that player.
Well, look at Phil Adamson. That is an immaculate pass away for Matt Singh to reach the halfway line. Then Freeman, now Adamson, good man to follow. He might go all the way. Carter's with him. He doesn't need Carter. The last tackle. The Knights with the player down injured. Matthew Johns, his brother will score. Andrew gets the try.
We talked about a few things in the last off-season when you're watching guys like Ricky Stewart putting it behind the play the ball a fair bit, and so we have a couple of calls, and if I hear Andrew call it, know where to put the football.
Matthew Johns, the grubber kick. They're going to score. Oh, yes, they are. The Johns boys.
To a certain extent, we use each other's eyes. Or sometimes I'm Matt's eyes and he uses in his mind. Where if we see something on, we've got a call and we just naturally kick the ball, throw the ball there, and a couple of times this year we're lucky enough to come off.
Russell Wire plays the ball 42 metres out from the line through Matthew Johns to his brother Andrew. A second man play for Robbie O'Davis. David Smith was running as a decoy. Johns got the pass away. Godden turns it on. Andrew Johns supports. His brother Matthew is there. Kepnich is beaten. He'll go in and score. Matthew Johns. He gets the try for the Knights. Now Big Roberts lumbers up to the defence. Pops the pass out the back. And away in number 11 for Manly, Stephen Menzies in the headgear. Strides out of one, brushes away another, stands in the next, looks for the support, but it doesn't come.
In 1994, I've been happy with how I played. I can't complain. We made the semis. I was able to score a few tries, and it's been an overall good learning experience and a good year for me.
Menzies. Menzies! He's got more with him! Shot the gate down the back of the paddock. He'll run straight out of the paddock. Look at that. Tuvey with a brilliant burst. Menzies is away. There's the first try.
Yeah, I try and position myself around the players that can make breaks or pop the balls, and I think it's an important part of my game that I've got to keep working on to back up and position myself well for support.
And then across for Lions. And now Menzies! Menzies for 13 tries. Dunford puts Menzies into a gap. Mackenzie's inside the 30-metre point. He'll go all the way. The record-breaking forward try scorer for Manly.
What a class, the class of 94, all top athletes and all top students of the game. We'll be back at the Sydney Football Stadium right after this for the toss of the coin. Almost full to capacity on this grand final day. The great day of the year as far as rugby league is concerned, and look at that blue sky. Of course, players do have their grand final superstitions. One-time honoured tradition rides on the toss of the coin to decide which way the teams will run, who will kick off. Officiating the toss is today's match is referee Greg McCallum, and with him the two captains and Ray Warren.
Thanks, Ken. We're down in the tunnel outside the dressing rooms, and I'm with Greg McCallum. His last grand final. He's got the coin, and over to my right we have the two captains, Mal Meninga and Terry Lamb. Greg, without any further ado, toss the coin and let's see who's running which way, because the breeze, by the way, is coming towards the scoreboard end, so I suppose that'll play a little bit of a part in this match.
Okay. All the best, Mal. Thanks, Greg. All the best, Terry. Seeing you at the first side into the grand final, Terry, it's your toss and Mal's call.
Tails. It's ahead, Mal. Terry?
We'll go away from the scoreboard.
You're going to run into the breeze?
Yep.
Good on you, mate. This is your fourth grand final, Terry, but your first as captain?
That's right. In 88, Peter Tunks was captain, and the early 80s, Turvey was captain.
Have you been in grand finals before where you've had two layoffs coming up to it?
I think in 84 we did have two layups coming into the grand final. We were successful at beating Parramatta, I think it was 7-6 or something like that.
I guess this is the ambition, to stand up there with the Winfield Cup at the end of the day as captain.
Yeah, it is, yes. Mal's done it before in 89, so I think it's my turn.
You reckon he's had enough?
I don't know about that, but I just wish him all the best.
Good on you, Baba. Thank you very much for that. Well, Mal, an emotional season for you. You last before the Kangaroo Tour, but you last on Australian soil as far as grand finals are concerned. It'll be good to get out of the road, I suppose.
Yeah, it's been an emotional week for me, I guess, but I'm going to try and treat it as any normal game and just get out there and try and play well, really.
I see you said to the players during the week, don't win it for me, win it for yourself.
Yeah, well, it's been the basic theme all year, tell you the truth. Everyone's pretty keen to sort of go out a winner and send me out a winner, but you can't do those sort of things. You've got to make sure you play well personally before the team survives.
Let me into one secret. A fortnight ago you played Canterbury. Everybody said Canberra went into the match wounded, players that were there that shouldn't have been there. If I asked you to compare your fitness level today with a fortnight ago, what would you say?
Well, Canterbury beat us fair and square last game, let's not forget that, but injury-wise we're probably a bit better off than we went into the major semi. Obviously Laurie's a bit more fitter now, and we've got still a few niggly injuries, but I'm quite certain once they get into the game, get the motions going, everyone will be fine.
Thanks for talking to me, good luck.
Thanks, Ray.
And thanks for the memories. Good on you, big fella. There he is, Mal Meninga. Now, it's the last match for Greg McCallum. He leaves us to go to England. Why did you want to do that to yourself?
It was a good challenge this time of my life, Ray. I've come to the end of my refereeing career actively here, so what better opportunity to get involved in administration, to travel over there and work with referees.
So does this grand final mean something special to Greg McCallum?
It means a lot to me, Ray. To be appointed was something I always wanted to do, was to go out near the top, and I suppose the league thankfully have given me that opportunity.
You had a tough match last weekend. I guess you don't want a repeat of that.
Tough in that we don't like having to send players off, but the league's policy over the last 2 years in particular has been very strong on foul play, and I certainly had no hesitation in sending the players off.
Good luck in England.
Thank you, Ray.
Greg McCallum, the grand final referee, Mal Meninga, Terry Lamb, and this special event is starting to hot up.
Indeed it is, Ray. In fact, it's only 40 minutes away to the kick-off to the big game between the Canterbury Bulldogs. Not that fellow. He may be the mascot, but the Canterbury Bulldogs up against the Raiders. We'll be back at the stadium right after this.
Some of the greats in the game and cherish some moments and friendships I'll never forget. Not only is this the last season for me, but it's also the conclusion of Rugby League's premiership that goes back 87 years. Today is a milestone in the game's history, the ending of the league's 16-team competition. From next year, a brand new Australian Rugby League will bring you a game that is bigger, better, simply the best. Next year, 4 new teams will run on the playing fields of our game, sharing one dream, to win this, the Winfield Cup. For the first time, the game will be national, international, dressed in the spectacular cloak the toughest and most exciting rugby league competition in the world.
The first Australians arrived on our shores thousands of years ago. Centuries later came the white man to stake his claim and add a new spirit to the ancient land. Now, on the fields of football, there is to be another landing, another beginning. These are mighty sportsmen from across the waters. Steeped in the brave spirit of their ancestors, come the Auckland Warriors.
Your heart will know. You gotta look back sometimes to know where to go.
You have a voice, long as you live. It's never too small, whatever you got to give.
When your life is low, hold on.
And you want to let go, be strong. Hold on, yeah.
Remember the dream we had when there was nothing else.
Remember the light that shines and find it in yourself.
Remember the dream
is yours, so let it guide your way.
Hey,
Keep it in line with you each day. Remember the dream is yours, so let it guide your way. Keep it
The cane fields of the north harvest a toughness only found in the heart of Queensland. These men of the land know only that to survive is to win. For the last 2 years, raiders from the north have crossed the border to snatch rugby league's supreme premiership prize. In 1995, another challenger from the north, the South Queensland Crushers.
Now every time
At the end of the Nullarbor lies a beautiful and friendly city of warmth, good wines, great hopes and fine sporting teams. In 1989, all eyes were on Perth and its rolling blue ocean as the city played host to the America's Cup. In 1995, attention will again be focused on the West Australian capital as Rugby League welcomes the Western Reds.
Together,
We'll come back someday.
together,
We will start life new. Together, this will be our plan. Together, we will fly so high. Together, tell all our friends goodbye. Together, we will start life new. Together, this is what we're gonna do. Go west. Life is peaceful there. Go west. Go west. Where the skies are blue. Go west. This is what we're gonna do. Together, we will love the beach. Together, we will learn and teach. Change our pace of life. Together, we will work and strive. Life is peaceful there. Out in the open air. Baby, you and me. This is our destiny. Go west. Sun and wintertime. Go west. People do just fine. Go west. Where the skies are blue. Go west. Yeah, come on, come on, come on. Go west.
At the core of our country beats a great fighting heart. Right now, the farmers and the men of the land who have helped build the blood and bone and the very soul of Australia are doing things tough. The spirit of the bush has made this land what it is, and the North Queensland Cowboys represent that unique quality of Australia.
We've been shearing sheep and we've been mustering stock. We've been culling out roofs and we've been spraying the crops. We've been droving cattle up an old stock route. And that Saturday night, we all pile in the ute. 'Cause we're the boys from the bush and we're back in town. We're the dogs in the back and the foot goes down. We're like members of the Outback Club. We're just boys from the bush coming from the scrub. And we've been out in the heat, and we've been loading the trucks. We've been fixing fences, and we've been choking on dust. We curse the rain, we curse the drought. And that Saturday night, yeah, we're all in the shout. 'Cause we're the boys from the bush, we're back in town. We raise hell when the sun goes down. We're like members of the Outback Club. We're just the boys from the bush coming from the scrub. We work the land through fire and flood. It's in our hearts, it runs in the blood. We're the boys from the bush and we're back in town. We raise hell when the sun goes down. We're like members of the Outback Club. We're just the boys from the bush coming from the scrub. Yeah, we're the boys from the bush, we're back in town. We get high when the sun goes down. We're like members of the Outback Club.
From next year, these 4 mighty new teams will join the world's toughest rugby league competition, the Winfield Cup. To play will be the privilege. To win will be the goal. It starts all over again. The circle of competition. The circle of playing to win.
From the day we arrive on the planet and blinking step into the sun,
there's more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done.
some say we all have our reasons, some say live and let live.
But all are agreed as we join the stampede, you can never take more than you give.
In the circle of life,
It's the wheel of fortune.
it's the leap of faith.
It's the band of hope till we find our place on a path unwinding in the circle of life.
Some of us fall by the wayside, and some of us soar to the stars.
The sun rolling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round. There's far too much to take in here, more to find than can ever be found.
But the sun rolling high through the sapphire sky,
Rugby league, the great game we found in the circle of life. It's the wheel of fortune. It's the leap of faith. It's the band of hope till we find our place on a path unwinding in the circle of life. In the circle of
Would you please thank our artists, performers, and all who have taken part in this year's Winfield Cup Grand Final Spectacular. Now, stand by for the main event, the 1994...
The countdown to the grand final continues. We will be back at the Sydney Football Stadium right after these messages. the Canberra Raiders warming up for the grand final against the Canterbury Bulldogs. There's Terry Lamb, just a few metres down from where the Raiders are working out in the warm-up preparations for the big game. And it should be an absolute blinder. These two teams have got a great ability to attack, to entertain, and it should be one of the great grand finals. And I'm joined by Paul Vaughton, Peter Sterling and Ray Warren. Might run through the sides. Let's go with Canterbury first. Sterlo.
Well, Scott Wilson at fullback, Jason Williams, Stephen Hughes playing in his first grand final, the youngster in the centres with McCracken. Darryl Halligan could be the key man, the best goal kicker in the business, something like 82% success rate. That's incredible. Terry Lamb captaining the side. Polamatta at half. Darren Britt underrated in the front row with Martin Bella and Jason Hetherington, who our man of the match 2 weeks ago, make up the front row. And a sensational back row for mine. Jason Smith, Dean Pay, Jim Dimmick, very physical but very skillful.
The Canberra side is Mullins at fullback, Nagus on one wing, Nandruku the other, Meninga and Wiki in the centres, Daly and Stewart. The front row is Pongia and Paul Osborne. Osborne brought into the side in place of the suspended John Lomax. Steve Walters between them, and then Jason Croker and David Ferner in the second row was Bradley Clyde at lock.
Ray Warren, your thoughts on the game?
Well, I've lent to Canberra pretty much right through. I guess I'm as concerned as anybody else about the overall fitness of the Raiders, but that interview I had with Mal Meninga earlier on makes me just that touch more confident that the Raiders are fitter going into this match than they were a fortnight ago. And that man, Laurie Daly, of course, we all believe now that he probably shouldn't have played in that match against Canterbury. He hasn't got the cycle pads on, the thigh protectors are gone, and he's running freely there, and a fully fit Daly will make a hell of a difference. I'm going for Canberra, but not by many.
Well, I'm going to go for Canterbury on the fact of their great defensive record this year. And I mean, Canberra got a great football side with some of the best players in the world, but this defensive line Canterbury have got seems to get up quickly and nullify anything that the opposition can do. That's why I think they'll get amongst the Canberra players and try and stifle their attack. Barry Brokenshire there, super sub he's turned in to be this year. He's retiring after today's game along with Martin Bella. So Canterbury, what they've got going for them, apart from their defence, is Terry Lamb. At the back, he drives his players. He's a great captain. And Darryl Halligan, of course, on the wing. What a great goal kicker.
Well, it worries me no end, Ken. I agree with Fatty, and that makes me want to reconsider. But I was impressed by Canterbury 2 weeks ago. I thought, even though the game went to extra time, they probably should have won that game by 6-12. The strength of both sides has shown the players that are on the bench. Tremendous strike power there. I'll go for Canterbury, but nothing in it.
Well, it's a benchmark day. These two fellows have agreed, or Sterlo's gone with you, Fatty, so that's a real worry. Thanks very much, Ray. It is a problem. It's a major problem.
Poor old Canterbury, eh? The weight of Vaughton and Sterling.
Have a great call.
Thanks, Kenny.
Okay, we'll be back with the big one in a few moments' time. Don't go away. And as we go to the break, take a look. This is Canberra, the Canberra Leagues Club. Come on, come alive. Yes, we knew they would. We'll be back in a moment. For the grand final 1994, fabulous scene of Sydney Harbour, the bridge, of course, the city centre itself, and just in the foreground there, we've got the Sydney Football Stadium, packed to capacity, 40-odd thousand people to watch the big game. Now, for an expert viewpoint on the merits of these two great sides, we've consulted two of the game's best analysts. Peter Sterling runs his expert eye of the Raiders, and scrutinising the Bulldogs is New South Wales State of Origin coach, Phil Gould.
Jones offloading for Larson, and there's the surging defence by Canterbury.
Canterbury Bankstown play the game in a very aggressive manner. Nothing typifies this more than the physical style of their up and in defensive system. Kiwi centre Jared McCracken is a tremendous exponent of this method and puts plenty of pressure on the opposition backs.
Well, McCracken picked up the big fella and drove him into the ground. Now, this is Jason Smith.
Canterbury's attack revolves around the ball-playing abilities of the back row forwards Jim Dimmick, Jason Smith and Dean Pay. Canterbury like to have options in attack to both the left and right of every play-the-ball situation. More often than not, they work the ball towards the middle through their big front row forwards Martin Bella and Darren Britt before setting up in an arrow-like formation either side of the ruck. Polamatta, Lamb and McCracken will create a play to the right, and on the very next tackle, Dimmick, Pay and Smith are ready to go again to the left, continually testing the abilities of the opposition defence. Every Canterbury player runs the ball with the confidence of knowing he has support both inside and out, and is encouraged to unload the ball at every opportunity. When talking to the Bulldogs, one has to make mention of their goal-kicking maestro, Daryl Halligan.
Because he was going forward, was able to pluck the intercept. I think everybody, even if you're a Canterbury supporter, you didn't mind seeing Mel score a try.
I tell you what, McCracken couldn't make any inches on him, could he?
Well, you know, what's wrong with going around the legs, but I'm glad he missed, because it was good to see Mel get over for the try.
Mal Meninga has been such a force in this game that you'd swear he's been around for 3 or 4 generations of footballers. And it's not that far short of the truth. Today, though, he played his last game of club rugby league in Australia. Mal has been excelling at top level for 16 years. Call him a legend or a freak. But Mal is essentially a boy who came from humble roots and worked hard to make himself the best centre in the game.
Achieved probably everything out of the game he's ever set himself. So, I mean, why wouldn't that make you happy? You'd have to be fairly contented with that. Most people finish being shown the back door in our game, players and coaches and officials, and here's a guy going out on his terms.
That Mal Meninga is leaving on his own terms is probably the greatest measure of a man, and there's no doubt these sort of things have made it all possible.
Meninga, does he get a try?
As long as Big Mal can stay on his feet until the whistle signals the end of the Kangaroo Tour, he'll have played around 460 games for club, state and country. But why Mal can conduct his own finale isn't just about the power of his performance. It's the way this footballing colossus has carried himself. He's never thought he's bigger than his sport. From the time the son of a Solomon Islander became a police cadet and was spotted in Brisbane nearly 20 years ago. The talent scout was the future Broncos coach, Wayne Bennett.
I was an instructor there, and another instructor came up to me and told me there was someone down the oval that looked really great. And I said, what are they playing? He said, touch. I said, oh, no one looks that good in touch, you know. He said, this kid looks really something. So I wandered down, I watched him for 10 or 15 minutes, and I realised he was something special, because he had it all. He was 15 years of age and he had it all.
Oh, this has got to be it. Meninga, quick hands and they'll do it. No, he dummies, goes himself, out of a couple, still going. Meninga, he'll score.
From South's Brisbane to Canberra, it's all looked so easy. But there've been setbacks, then fightbacks, from 4 broken arms. Mal's always had the gifts, but also the mind to make it work.
Mentally, he's been so strong. Mentally, he's been able to overcome, you know, the difficulties, the obstacles that have been placed in front of him time and time again, the disappointments, all the things that have happened in his career.
And while actions here speak louder than words, there was a time when his men wouldn't listen to him. Like after Tim Sheens made him captain back in 1989. Disgruntled teammates wanted Mal to show them the way, and Coach Sheens agreed.
I said, you've got to get in and lead by example. So anyway, Todd and Laz were sort of grinning to one another. Yeah, that's right, that's right. So I think Canterbury kicked off and Mal took the first one up, and I think he took the 4th one up, and he just went straight through and just really give it to him. And we went on to win the game, a tight game, but went on to win it. And I think from then on, Mal's put on his personal goal almost every week is lead by example, lead by example.
Here's Meninga! Meninga! Oh, the big bloke! He stampedes across!
It's worked well. Important when winning means so much to you.
Well, unbelievable. Is this the greatest moment you've ever had? Yes, by far. By far. Best player for Australia, best player for Queensland. This is what it's all about, winning the grand final.
Mal has won plenty, and former Raiders fullback Gary Belcher knows what a coup it is finding something your captain's not good at.
We finally found something you can't do, and that's windsurfing. After 3 hours, out on his windsurfer, 350 people on the beach watching, Mal's most embarrassing moment, he still could not get up and sail more than 2 or 3 metres.
Mal Meninga failed.
Mal Meninga failed at one thing in his whole life. Unbelievable.
But as far as his fans are concerned, Mal can do no wrong. They're everywhere, even in deepest, darkest Bronco territory.
And by the way, they're the boots, Mel's 1990 grand final boots he gave me.
Fantastic. A bar manager at Morgan's Hotel, Debbie dropped her first name and professionally now calls herself simply Meninga. Is this an obsession?
No. Always seems to have trouble when you're a woman, you've got an obsession. You either want to marry him or you want to do something else with him. I only follow him because of what I say, because he is just a great man to respect. I send him faxes every Monday morning without fail, tell him how the game went on the weekend, what's happened up here, how the tab's going or whatever. He replies back to me now and again, you know, to let me know.
He does get back up?
Yes. Oh, he gets back and just says, you know, how you're going and glad that you came down to the game.
So what if Mel decides to stay with the Raiders in retirement rather than joining the Broncos or the London Broncos? Can you accept that?
Yes.
You're going to leave everything on the wall?
Oh, nothing's getting moved.
This is like a tomb, isn't it?
It'll stay like that, yes.
And Mal's never been embarrassed by it all. This sort of adulation has helped him last as long as he has. And he's made it a practice of returning the loyalty.
The kids are, they're the genuine people of the game. You know, they're the ones that do look up to you, and you got to set sort of an example to them. And you know, no matter what they do, they might play rugby league, they might not want to play rugby league, but they're always
his own terms. And right now, Tim Sheridan is with Mal Meninga.
Well, we've just seen a wonderful tribute to your career go to air, and we've just seen you go around on a victory lap with your kids. Just your thoughts on a farewell like this one.
Tim, it hasn't really sunk in yet, just quietly. I mean, I'm starting, as the progresses a bit after the game, I'm starting to feel a bit more excited, but I guess it probably won't until I get back to Canberra and really celebrate with all our fans back there and really sink in and say we won the grand final.
It was a magnificent start. There was a huge tackle on Terry Lamb that you did. Things just went right from the very first moment, didn't they?
Yeah, we started very well, and our forwards played particularly well today and locked up the ball because the Canterbury pack's a very, very dangerous pack, but I think we completely dominated the game. And
well, a shower for Mal Meninga. Probably not the one he'd planned.
What am I saying?
You were just talking about a marvellous start.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think we dominated the game right from way to go today, and it just shows what a wonderful football side this team is. And we performed well. Everyone playing well in the grand final is, you can't wish for any better.
And your plans for next year have been made public today, have they?
Not quite sure. Who said that?
There was talk that you're staying with the Raiders for next year. Will you make an announcement soon?
I don't know where you got that from. I still haven't made a decision what I'm going to do, but I will see what happens in the next few days.
I don't think there'd be a fair-minded fan of any sport in Australia that wouldn't be wishing you the best at the moment. Kangaroo Tour from now on, I guess that'll put the full stop on it.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be name read out tonight, as going on one of the tourists, and it's going to be torrid tests over in England, and the job's not done yet.
Would there be a few young Raiders that you'd hope to take away as a result of going all the way?
Well, I think there'll be a couple of specials in there. I think, if we don't get 6 or 7, there'll be something wrong.
Congratulations, Mal, the end of an era. Thanks for being with us.
Good on you, Mal Meninga. Well, there's a fairly handy hint on how many you're going to get into the team. 6 or 7, Sterlo?
Well, I think that's a realistic outlook. Say some of the fringe players who may have been a chance of going may have become certainties after that 80-minute performance out there. We've already mentioned a couple of them, but there'll be plenty of them for sure.
Well, you've got Stuart, Walters, Clyde for a start. Mullins will go, Meninga will go, possibly David Ferner and even Jason Croker.
It's been pre-arranged. Oh, breaker! That's magical stuff! That is magical stuff!
One of the few bright moments for the Balmain Tigers this year. This season, the Tigers left Leichhardt Oval behind, and they will play their home matches at Parramatta Stadium in 1995. Leaving Leichhardt behind was about cold, hard economics. It's unlikely the Tigers would have survived the corporate game of rugby league if they'd stayed there. Hopefully, they'll go on to a bright future, but in leaving Leichhardt behind, they say farewell to a ground rich in character. Part of that charm is a place called Wimpey's Well, and Tim Sheridan has the story.
Goodbye, tiger, chasing those Dolce Vita times.
One afternoon last month, the Tigers and Leichhardt Oval exchanged goodbyes. It was an emotional day, a sad one, but the age of the stadium has put every suburban rugby league ground on notice, and Balmain is the latest to face the full-time whistle. It may mean survival, but two of the youngest Tigers have a story to tell about what we lose when the sun sets on a ground like this one. Two 19-year-olds, winger Chris Morecambe and centre Grant Stewart, made first grade just in time for that last match. They both have bright futures, and Balmain found them in the bottom of a well, under the stand at the southern end of Leichhardt.
Well, mate, this is what's known as Wimpey's Well. You're welcome.
Ray Gerry has been Wimpey for as long as he can remember, and Balmain for even longer. Originally, these disused dressing rooms were a gift from the Mayor of Leichhardt to shelter players' partners from the cold while the team showered in the main stand. Ray felt compelled to decorate.
Bit of paintwork, bit of art history, just to brighten it up.
Looks like a scrunched up pair of wet shorts or something.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it was. A pair of Balmain football shorts with some white paint on it was thrown against the wall.
The next thing he knew, Wimpey was feeding the players after training.
Tawny Fraser was kind enough to give us a stove from a flats he had. This was a classic. This was fallen off the back of a truck. And I was a truck driver at the time, so I can't say too much about it.
So you stopped and picked it up?
I stopped and picked it up, yeah. Well, it was pretty hard to get in. It's a mortuary slab table.
Oh, dear me.
The slab table, that was given to us by the late Jack Dowling, arranged that for us.
So it wasn't the one he was on, was it?
No, it was before he died. And so we've nights there, we've had pasta. Comes in handy, we fill it up with there, and the boys come in and have a feed.
In Wimpey's Well?
In Wimpey's Well, yeah.
On game days, Wimpey would wait for the main bar to close and sell drinks to a few ex-players. Wimpey's Well became liquid, so to speak, and needed to be, given the after-training appetites of 3 grades. But there was still some cash left over, so Ray Gerry hatched a scheme to bring young and gifted players down from the bush and look after them.
When did you first hear of Wimpey's Well?
Oh, Wimpey was the one that got us trialling and that. And when we first came down here, was to stay in the well. He said, we got a place for you to stay where you'll eat dinner and have breakfast and all that. And that was it. It was the well. So that's where we first heard of that.
He brought us in and looked after us and that, fed us well. And they took care of all that fitness part and that. So when we went out and played football and that, it helped us.
Stay in the first grade wing all the year. The year after, when you're 20, probably move into Sems. Bit of experience.
Ray Gerry is a good football head. He played grade and will assist with Balmain's under-21s next year. He's also a family man, but the household he ran at Leichhardt was unusual to say the least. For these two, it was a home ground in the truest sense of the term. From the outside, this looks like a private box, but if the sponsors only knew just how they were helping the Balmain cause.
It's a room with a view, Ray.
Yeah, well, there's not many walk-in wardrobes with a view, is there? Yeah. We used to spread the clothes out a bit. The boys used to come in here, grab a pair of shorts, T-shirts for training. It was pretty early in the morning, so they weren't worried what they wore. The idea was I'd wake them up in the morning, they'd have a run, a swim, breakfast, catch a sleep for an hour, then they'd have an hour and a half workout in the gym, and they usually crashed after that again, and wake them up in the afternoon for another session of training with ball work and weights and skills. So it was a pretty hectic day for them. You know, they didn't have much time to themselves.
What was the earliest he ever woke you?
Oh, about 5 o'clock.
You're joking.
5 o'clock in the morning. Getting up. Oh, took us a while to get up. Like, then we just jumped in the cold shower and that just to wake ourselves up a bit.
Versatile mentor that he is, Wimpy even supervised these two in their final year at school. There are no shortcuts in a scholarship from Wimpy's Well, but ex-students love Ray Gerry like a father. Grant Stewart celebrated his graduation with a couple of tries against Easts as the season was winding down.
How much credit would you give the Well and Ray for your football career as it stands at this point?
Oh, well, if we didn't have the Well, I wouldn't be here now. I'd be at home with my parents, so I give it a lot of credit.
Did it help you meet the other players and feel part of the Tigers?
Yeah, it made it feel welcome and that, and like boy from the bush and that coming down, it's a bit hard. So you come in Wimpy's Well and that, have a feed, have a bit of yarn with the boys and that, get to know them real good.
A lot of heroes around the walls, all Balmain boys.
All Balmain boys, yeah.
I bet you're sad to leave here, are you?
Oh, yeah. I've had a ball. I've done what I wanted to do and enjoyed doing it. That's what it's been all about. You know, and the people who've played us on the wall, like them as my friends.
Goodbye, Tiger. Name a Balmain player from the modern era, and they've all enjoyed Wimpy's company under the old stand at Leichhardt. It began as a tea room and became the inner sanctum for the players and their coach.
Funniest one was Frank Stanton used to bring the first grade in here, sit them down and get them all talking and arguing and that, and then Frank would go outside and listen outside.
Through the window?
Through the window, everybody got over. So Frank had all the guts on it next day, so trained them accordingly.
Maybe the Well these days is concerned with not much more than feeding the remains of the Tiger spirit at Leichhardt. But Wimpy will always remember it as the place that made his wish come true.
I always said to people that if you bring kids from the country, you've got to look after them. You know, you can't just bring them down first up, throw them out to the woods themselves, you know, because after the training that these kids are going to do, no one wants to go home and cook a meal, you know, and that's good news for Kentucky Fried and Pizza Hut, but it's not the way that, you know, you'll succeed.
So you don't want Wimpy's Well to dry up?
No, actually, I was thinking of getting the caravan and taking it to Parramatta Stadium, call it Wimpy's Meals on Wheels.
It's not the Regent blocker, but it did its job.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the Regent, but it was home. It was got some great memories still at the Well there, and good to see the young fellas come along. Wimpy's a great man. Sport needs more people like him, especially rugby league, and he was a tremendous fellow to all us blokes. Like a dad, second dad he was.
Did you spend much time there yourself? Lived there?
Oh, I used to live there. We used to cook up a great feed, Wimpy, and then go home and have a feed.
It looked like I ate there a few times.
Well, mate, you can joke about it, but mate, it's good memories for us.
So they're going to have a Wimpy's Well with the Sydney Tigers?
Well, as he said, he's going to. I'm sure he'll have something there, a hot dog stand or something like that. But he's a great man, Wimpy, and I'm sure you'll probably go there now, and he'd be walking around the hills picking up papers or doing something for Leichhardt Oval.
Is it the same way it was when you first arrived? I mean, other than a bit of a paint job?
Exactly the same. The only thing, and a couple of different photos on the wall. But he's been there ever since, and you know, he's a great bloke for Balmain and a real staunch supporter.
So you're not a Balmain boy anymore. You're a Sydney Tiger.
Well, I don't know what I am, mate, but I still got a soft spot for the Tiger. I played there for a lot of years, and Wimpy will always be there. He's a great fella.
Good on you, Block. Okay.